Wait a minute till 5:15 to.
Oh, good point.
Just to. Okay, so we have people that really want. Wait a minute till 5:15 to.
You're right. Oh, good point.
Just to. Okay, so we have people that really want. Wait a minute till 5:15 to.
You're right. Sorry, that was the feedback because I go live on YouTube. It takes me a second to like get it all turned on correctly. So I apologize. Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know
So
that.
it goes live on HISRA's YouTube page. And when I turn it on, I'm sure that if I were better at YouTube, I could figure out how to set that setting so it muted immediately when I did that. But I immediately get the feedback and then I gotta mute.
Now
So.
tell me, why are we on YouTube? I mean,
HISRA has a YouTube page that we do like program videos on and everything, and that's where our meetings stream live.
oh,
Yep.
All right, let's call the meeting to order. Roll at 5:15. Roll call, please.
Okay, Trustee Cahill. Trustee Johnson.
here.
Trustee Dickerson.
Here.
Trustee Gorgon. Trustee Yates.
Here.
Trustee Plaker.
Here.
Trustee Tibbs.
Here.
And Trustee Cox.
Here.
All right, first thing, it looks like approval of minutes. Can look at the June 16th minutes, the last time we actually met.
I know it's probably kind of hard to remember back that far, but if you have any corrections, let us know.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Okay. Trustee Johnson.
Yes.
Trustee Dickerson.
Yes.
Trustee Yates.
Yes.
Trustee Plaker.
Yes.
Trustee Tibbs.
Yes.
And Trustee Cox.
Yes.
All right. Let's look at the bills. Like bills from June, July, and August.
You've got June, July, and August there. Just a couple of things of note. I like to kind of let you know if there's anything that's out of the ordinary. Remember, we contracted music this summer because we didn't do field trips like we usually do. So we contracted our music. We talked about that several months ago going into summer. I don't know, you may have noticed pest control. We've had some wasp issues. I feel like everybody has had wasp issues this year. I don't know about the rest of you, but we, as a matter of fact, just found a wasp's nest in our side view mirror of one of our vans. Yes, I don't even know how to begin with that. So we're gonna have to figure that out. But so we've had some extra pest control trying to get rid of those wasp nests. And then we also talked about this prior to summer, but you'll see an additional janitorial service bill. If you recall, we ran our a couple of programs out of the Safety Town building. The Peoria Park District let us use that for the summer. And we utilized our current janitorial company and just had them do extra cleanings there because we are utilizing that facility. So, you'll see an extra bill of that in this mass of bills. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
I move to approve the bills for June, July, and August.
Second.
Second by Trustee Plaker. Roll call, please.
Okay. Trustee Johnson.
Yes.
Trustee Dickerson.
Yes.
Trustee Yates.
Yes.
Trustee Plaker.
Yes.
Trustee Tibbs.
Yes.
And Trustee Cox.
Yes.
All right. Moving on, financial report for both, or for June, July, and August.
So you'll have the financial reports for all 3 months. As we've talked about, some of our registration for the first half of this year was somewhat slow. It has been booming in the fall, so we're kind of excited about that. I'll talk about that more in our my director's report. So we'll see that pick up a little bit. There's a couple of kind of things that need to be reallocated from our training and conference line to program supplies. So that looks a little heavy right now, but they just, for whatever reason, they're in the wrong, hanging out in the wrong account. But I'd be happy to answer any questions about that.
If there are no questions, can I have a motion to, is it accept and place on file or approve?
Approve. That's
Approve.
what we've done in the past.
Financial report.
So moved.
Trustee Yates with the first.
second,
Trustee Johnson. Roll call, please.
Trustee Johnson,
yes,
trustee Dickerson,
Yes.
trustee Yates,
Yes.
trustee Plaker,
Yes.
trustee Tibbs,
Yes.
and trustee Cox.
Yes.
All right. Director's report looks to be next.
Yeah, so I'm just going to give you kind of some overviews of, we haven't met since June. So we had a great summer. It was, significantly less crazy than 2020, but successful nonetheless. We were able to run pretty successfully with no shutdowns and no major quarantines of anyone, which was really fantastic. We had a large portion of our staff who, for whatever reason, we didn't collect the vaccination status, but they didn't have to do a lot of quarantining because of that, which was really nice. Our fall program brochure was both mailed and emailed in August. We spent a lot of time over the pandemic kind of curating our mail list. So we gathered a lot of email addresses and things like that, until we had RecTrack, we weren't really collecting a lot of that stuff because we weren't doing online registration, so that we could do email communication a little more easily. We will always have a portion of our participants that will need to hard copy mail too, because they just don't use email effectively. They don't register online effectively. They want to come into our office and they want to register here. And that's okay. So we've kind of worked on curating that list and making it a little smaller. So this was the first brochure we've put out since January of 2020 that was a full season, which was really exciting for us. And it was really fantastic because that caused our registration to really boom this fall, which is nice. I think people have really started to come back to programming. They've liked the opportunity to be able to look several months out, which is really nice. So we have quite a few programs that are full and have wait lists. So we're currently looking at our calendars and our staff availability and our resources to be able to add some additional options for those programs, for those people on our wait lists, and anybody else who might potentially be interested in those. So we're really excited about that because people are really coming back to programming this fall, which is nice. Like I said, it'll be our first full season since really late 2019, which is great. Wait lists are not a thing we'd like to have. So we'll definitely use that information going into 2022. And we expect to be printing some seasonal brochures again in 2022 and are looking at pricing that out and figuring out what that will look like right now. Obviously, everything is with an asterisk now, pending any pandemic changes, right? But that's what we expect to see happen in 2022. So it'll be back to our sort of like winter, spring, summer, and fall brochure, as well as then that camp brochure that'll come out too at the beginning of the year, usually in January, maybe early February, depending upon how that timing makes the most sense. As far as COVID guidelines go, HISRA has had to make no changes with the operating plan under the recent guideline changes. So like that August 10th sports guidance that came out and then the indoor mask mandate, we've been operating with masks indoors the entire time. So that's worked out really well for us, so that we haven't had, particularly with our participant base, having to yo-yo back and forth, 1 week wearing masks and the next week not, is really difficult. And then with the number of folks that we have that for whatever reason have lack an ability to wear a mask for medical reasons and things like that, that percentage is just higher with our population. So we've ridden through wearing masks, and it's worked out well for us because we haven't had to do the yo-yoing, and we haven't had to reintroduce them to folks, and it's been great. So we also haven't had to make any changes to our operating plan when that stuff has happened. So in addition, HISRA staff conducted a programming survey in early September to kind of evaluate the needs, wants, and desires of future programming, but also like, what did they like about what we've done in the past, and what should we change, or what suggestions or thoughts do you have, or what do you miss? So we'll take that information, and it'll impact our 2022 service provision. We'll share the results with the board. It just closed, so I'll kind of share some of those high level results with you probably in our next meeting. I am currently kind of investigating how vaccine mandate requirements impact us. We have some Special Olympics or sports programming that are held inside of Peoria Public Schools facilities. And we are trying to work out with them how that impacts our staff now that they have the vaccine mandates inside of schools. My understanding is that there's like that 15-minute window. I don't know how it's impacting all of you and your programs, but we're waiting for an answer from Peoria Public Schools about that then, so we can determine whether it's still feasible for us to use those facilities or what we might have to do on our end. And then our management staff and programming staff recently met with the Children's Home to help facilitate more participation by their participants that are eligible for our program. So we're trying to work with them to get more Children's Home residents registered for our programming as well. Beyond that, we're trying to shake up our social media and plan some things kind of a month out in regard to sharing more on our social media. So as your member districts have events and you want to share that information with us, we would love to promote your events and activities to our participants. So feel free to share any and all information in regard to that with us. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have in regard to that information. I do, after discussion with Brian, with us not having a meeting in a couple of months, I'm going to try to put this kind of my bullet points together each month and send it to you in an email, so you're getting that information when we're not meeting, and hopefully that will be helpful to you in regard to just kind of keeping you in the loop, and that way I don't forget to cover anything, because honestly, in HISRA time, June seems like so long ago, right? And we've moved on to fall programming. So that I think will be helpful. So that was something Brian and I discussed. And so I'm going to try to hold myself to that, so that whether we meet or not meet, I can just kind of send that information out to you. I'll go ahead and send this one after our meeting today, because it includes a link of our to our fall brochure. So you have an opportunity to look at that, but it's also on our homepage, the bottom of our homepage on our website as well. So.
Hey, Katie, if we're going to share some of the Facebook stuff with you, do you want HISRA to just be a co-sponsor on the event, so it just automatically gets added to your calendar? Or do you want it to email, you want us to email it to you or Brooke? Or
I would do it in whatever way you're comfortable. I try to kind of troll your Facebook and share it, but I'll be honest with you, it's a lot of work. And I'm sorry. So I mean, if there's something that you have some information about, and I'm thinking like your egg hunts and your like special events, things that we can really just kind of make sure that we're getting out to our community as well. I don't know that you have to list us as a co-sponsor. If you'd like to, because you feel like that would access an additional community of people, we would love to have you do that.
because like the co-host or co-sponsor, if you're listed that way on the events, it just automatically gets added to your calendar. Like you
That'd be
hit
great.
yes, and then it's on there and you don't have to do anything. So
That'd be
I'll look at
awesome.
which one that is and we'll start doing that
Okay.
stuff.
Wonderful. Thanks, Kevin.
Katie, what were the numbers like this summer?
As far as
program?
camp numbers,
Yes.
let's see. I think our Camp Free to Be program typically, Robert, in a non-COVID, pre-COVID year, those numbers are about 60 each week. I think this past year, there were about 45 ish, one or two the other way. Our summer days program was, our numbers were significantly lower than they have been in the past. And that program, Robert, is our teen program. And that's the group of folks that, probably is in your, they're involved in all your park district day camps, and we provide inclusion services, and then they age out at 12 or 13, but they're still looking for a day camp type opportunity. Those numbers started dropping before COVID, and I believe, and we believe, based on just our relationships with schools, that's because schools are doing a really good job now of helping teens, high school students with disabilities get involved in employment that extends into the summer. And so what we're finding is we have less teens registering for that program because they're employed throughout the summer on some level. And it might be a couple of days a week or something. So we have adjusted and modified the registration options for that program here and there. It's now a daily registration. So you could register for like Monday 1 week and Tuesday the next week and Wednesday the third week, or you could register for all Mondays, or you could register for all Mondays and Wednesdays. So we've tried to make it as dynamic as possible in regard to how you can register. And we still necessarily haven't seen our numbers climb, but that happened right before the pandemic hit too, right? We made those adjustments, and then it's hard to say at this point what's impacting that. It's a smallish but mighty program. We probably had some weeks 10, some weeks 18 in the program.
Okay. Sound like is it because of the COVID that we're down a little bit?
Yes, absolutely. Some of it is because we have to be really careful about capacity in particular spaces, right? If you look at the day camp guidelines, I don't know whether you've looked at those at all, but you have to consider capacity of rooms and things like that. So some of it is capacity. Some of it is, participant apprehension. Probably some of our participants were slower to make a decision to get vaccinated, or, a lot of them have additional, comorbid conditions that make them more likely to have complications if they were to contract COVID. So, our return to programming is going to be slower than others.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Any other questions?
Lorelei had to leave the meeting. That was a on purpose thing. She had to.
That's right.
She messaged me, so.
I just wrote it down that she left, so I knew what time.
Like,
No worries.
I
That was my awkward pause.
But yeah.
You can't tell what I'm doing on Zoom, can you?
Well, if there's no other business.
So the only other thing we had is I did have one board member asked to add under other business a meeting attendance discussion. So I did add that.
Yeah, and I guess that was mine. And I just wanted to ask all the trustees to just make a point to check your calendars, check your availability, because it seems like we've been very lacking in our quorums this past, 9 months, 12 months maybe, more so than probably should be. So I just wanted everybody to take a look, because we really need to be fair to all the other board members and to HISRA, to Katie, to Brooke, make sure that we're meeting to give them their time.
Good point.
That seems fair. It looks like, just looking ahead, October looks like it's on the normal third Wednesday. Katie, correct me if I'm wrong. November, I have that as the third Tuesday, the 16th. So November
And I'm
16th.
going to need to double check Peoria's agenda, because they shuffle their agenda around for budget sometimes in there. And I try to keep on top of it, but sometimes I got to check the website every day.
Okay.
So.
And then it looks like I showed December is the second Tuesday. I could be way off on that, but it does bounce around. So like Shane was saying, let's all just get these on our calendars and at least communicate with our partner from our district so that there is a quorum. Seems to make sense if at all possible. So.
And if you know in advance you will not be at a meeting, just let me know. I usually try to send out something the week prior to ask if people will be here. So just keep me in the loop. If we know in advance, we could maybe reschedule.
Where is that listed, our schedule of meetings? Is that on something I can get?
So I can send it to you, Robert. It was it was in one of your packets at the beginning of the year. We approved that agenda, but I'll resend those dates to you. In addition, I try to keep them updated on our website. Website is not my strongest suit. I'm going to be a, I don't know, website developer in my next life or something, but I will email them to you to make that as easy as possible on you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. If there's no other business, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So
I'll make
moved.
that motion.
Kevin with the
I'll
first.
second.
Joel's on the second. Do we need to roll call in the meeting? Yes, roll call, please.
Okay, trustee Johnson,
Yes.
trustee Dickerson,
Yes.
trustee Yates,
Yes.
trustee Plaker,
Yes.
trustee Tibbs,
Yes,
and trustee Cox. Oh,
she gone.
So
All
thanks so
right.
much.
Thank you all.
thank you.
All righty. Thank you, everybody.
Have a good one.
Have a great day.
See ya.